Hi there, Uncle Davis here, watching NPH TV Nothingprohere here, and today we have this box arrived at my doorstep literally earlier today, and this is a purchase I made from Aliexpress because it's Nothingprohere here, and I also don't actually have that much cash. So as you may probably know, that Fanatec CSL DD comes as a 5Nm setup, and you can also purchase the optional power supply, which will bump your direct drive wheelbase up to 8Nm. But that power supply is about $250. Here what I've got is I found a power supply that claims to be able to make the CSL DD to be 8Nm on AliExpress for a third of the price. It's about $70 that I pay, including tax and shipping. And here it is. As usual, any shipping from AliExpress is, well, minimalist, let's put it that way. Nothing fancy on the box, certainly fits our channel Nothingprohere here, and let's open up to see. Yep, exactly what I've expected from AliExpress. Nothing more, nothing less. So here we have the power supply, which you can see here is some sort of brand, you know, whatever, but that's the more important part, is 180 watts, and more importantly, it's obviously comes with this connector, which goes right into the wheelbase. Otherwise, you know, I could have just picked up a laptop power supply from work. Really, there's heaps of them lying around in my office, and of course I opt for the Australian plug since I'm based in Australia. And there you go, this is the Australian cables, and that's it basically. That's pretty much it, nothing else from the box. So I'm just gonna plug this right into the wheelbase, and we'll fire up the Fanatec software and see if it recognizes it, and then we'll do some driving. Now this is the original power supply. So you can see this from Fanatec. I mean, it doesn't really say here, but what I've noticed is this light is still on after I've unplugged the power supply. I mean, how much charge does it actually hold? I mean, it has been about 2 minutes after I've unplugged it, and it's still showing like the green light there. So a little bit scary. I thought we'll include that into this video. I'm not sure why. I'm no you know, I'm not an expert in electricals, but I'm assuming you still got like some charge in the power supply, and that's why the light is still on. But yeah, it's been 2 minutes, so yeah, just for something interesting. Okay, so now back to my computer. Now let's fire up the Fanatec app and see what's gonna happen. See if it can detect it being a new wheelbase. All right, so we haven't powered it on yet, obviously, so we're just gonna have this up here, and now I'm gonna turn it on, and oh, there's a new firmware update, and let's check, and it says CSL DD boost kit 180. Great, so it works. Fantastic. All right, so let's let us go ahead to install some new firmware, and then we will do some testing. I'm assuming the new firmware is because of the power supply, now that it is using a high power 8Nm setup, hence it is asking us to upgrade. So highlight big podium DD update, new downgrade feature, new firmware for LC pedals connect via USB. I should actually do the firmware for the pedals, but we'll do that next time, since I haven't actually got the USB cable plugged in. All tuning menu setting will reset to factory default, that's fine. So let's just click OK. So let's give it some time for the firmware update to go through. CSL direct drive wheelbase detected. Doesn't actually say it's the boost kit being detected, so I'm still not quite sure if it is just by chance that there's a new firmware came out today because there wasn't any yesterday, or was that actually due to the fact that we have now plugged in a 180-watt power supply and then it realized that it needs a firmware update for using it as an 8 Newton meters wheelbase. So we'll see after the update is done. Okay, so firmware update completed. The wheel is sort of turning. It says Cal in menu, press D-pad and Xbox. Okay, so switch from Xbox One mode to PC mode. Okay, so somehow we have gone into the Xbox mode as the light is on green. So we'll do the by pressing N and Y. Goes into the compatible mode. Now go back to red, which is PC mode. And then click next. Make sure the steering wheel is physically centered. Alright, so let's center the wheel. Click calibrate. Click next. And Mclaren GT3 V2 firmware will be updated. Okay, so now is the wheel, not the... So okay, so that was the firmware for the wheelbase. Now is the firmware for the wheel itself. So I do have the CSL a BMW wheel as well. You know, the cheapest one. Maybe that will need a firmware update as well. But we'll do that at another time. All I want to try is how does the 8 Newton meters feel like, right? If you have other steering wheels such as Formula V2, Mclaren, WRC, Podium Hub, and CSL Universal Hub, please connect it now. The wheelbase, and well, I do not have the WRC. I only have the standard one, so I'm assuming that's not the one that I was talking about here. So we'll just click finished, and firmware manager can now be closed. Assuming it will bring us back to the Fanatec software. That's great. So CSL DD boost kit, that's good. Okay, so let's fire up some games and see how we go. Okay guys, here it is. We're in ACC, which is the sim that I've spent most of the time in, about 400 hours in it. Even though I'm still not that fast. Nothingprohere, I guess. But I guess this would be the best sim for me to test because this is a sim that I know the most about, the most familiar with. So let's jump into the options here and go to the controls. That I just want to show you guys that I've changed absolutely nothing from the settings that I've been using for the 5 Newton meter setup. Just want to see how it feels when I'm keeping everything else the same, only the power supply has been replaced. I'm assuming I will have to change a few settings here and there, but let's just see. So go back to here and just gonna put a race on just to get a feel of how that gonna feel like. So just gonna go to single player. Let's do a hot lap first with my favorite car, Mclaren, in Spa. Alright, here we are in the 720 as Mclaren, which is my favorite car in ACC, and also we are at Spa-Francorchamps, one of my favorite track in this game, if not across all the sim racing games really. Spa is a fantastic track. So I thought this combination, I've done it many times, so it will be the best for me to test out how different this 8 Newton meters setup feels like, the difference between these and the 5 Newton meters. So I can't wait to start. I have no idea what I should expect, so let's start the engine. Okay, so I can feel the road surface. A little bit better than the 5 Newton meters. I've got to say, not too much of... Oh wow, okay. I was just about to say there's not too much of a difference, but as soon as I start turning the cars around, like this wheel, at the moment with 8 Newton meters, it feels a lot heavier. Like a lot heavier. In a good way, I can feel that I can, you know, like you can see the bump. That's not me moving, that's the wheel moving itself. I definitely need to use more force, more muscles to get the car under control, but it feels amazing. It feels amazing. I definitely feel like I have more control of the car because the wheel is now stiffer. So any adjustment to the direction of the car is a lot more detailed. It's really the same as, you know, in real life. If you go by a 8-seater people mover, the wheel is gonna feel like really light. But if you go for like a sports car, the wheel is gonna be like stiffer, heavier, to have that better precise control. Now the downside is it's gonna use a lot more energy from your muscles, from your arms. I guess it's not actually a downside. Let's face it, that's not a downside. Immersion wise, this is fantastic. Of course, I have never driven a GT3 car before in real life, but as far as my daily driving experience goes, this feels a lot more like a real car. It's not too heavy. You can imagine it feels like you're trying to turn the wheel when your car is like stationary. And you get that sort of resistance, but it's not ridiculously tough. Now obviously with the other downside is, which will eventually go away, finger crossed, is that with this extra force, now I have to work on all my muscle memories again, in terms of how much force I need to use to turn around certain corners, even the braking point to a certain degree, because everything is sort of linked together, right? It's all about smoothness in sim racing. So as one part is out of sync, then you have to readjust everything, basically. But I have no doubt after, I don't know, like 10 laps or even like 20 laps, which really is nothing, 20 laps as far as practicing goes, I should be able to adjust to it. Everyone should be able to adjust to it. But if you talk about immersion, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. It's an absolutely necessary purchase. Especially for the price, it's only a third of the official one. Now, of course, the official one being so much more expensive, I would imagine, and well, at least I hope, that it has some superior components inside, better quality, better longevity. Now, of course, I'm no expert in electricals and electronics and all that, so I don't actually know, and I can't even prove to you how good or bad the quality of these Aliexpress ones is. And of course longevity as well, as we just mentioned. I have no idea. I literally just got this out of the box. So I guess 6 months down the track, maybe I will come back and do another videos just to see how I missed the apex, just to see how it's going. Maybe it dies tomorrow, maybe it dies next week, or maybe it keeps running for like 2 years, 3 years or so. Not sure. But again, for the price, $70, you can't really say no to it. You can't really say no to it. This is brilliant. This is absolutely fantastic. Alright, so that's it. 8 Newton meters of CSL DD using a power supply from Aliexpress for $70. absolutely bargain, absolutely best value. If you're down for immersion and if you think that $250 is a little bit too much, then definitely give this a consider. Not saying you shouldn't buy the official ones. I'm sure there will be something about that being superior. That's why it's that expensive. Can I justify that price tag? Probably not. Honestly, if you ask me, if they sell that for like $120, then I'll probably get it. But for 250, no, not really. 250, I could almost get another wheel, right? So that's a bit too much. But anyway, that's my thought on the 8 Nm power supply from Aliexpress. Definitely big thumbs up to that. As long as you do not mind it being from Aliexpress, maybe longevity issue, it may not last long. Will it damage the CSL DD? You ask me, I'm not sure. If it does, I'm sure I will be the first one to let you guys know. But if you put all those concerns aside, performance wise in that just quick 2 laps, brilliant. So I'm gonna do a few more videos probably with actual racing and see how we go. So on that, thanks so much for watching. That's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.